Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A feud between two gangs is being blamed for a pair of homicides this past November. Winnipeg police say a 20-year-old man shot dead in a South Winnipeg neighborhood was killed in retaliation for the fatal shooting of another man at a nightclub. Tonight, 3 people are charged with first-degree murder in the second shooting. Standing by with all the details for us in the Exchange District tonight is CTV's Josh Crabb. So, Josh, this was a pretty violent few days in Winnipeg for those who remember.
Yes, the violence started here at this nightclub where 23-year-old Jamshed Wahhabi was fatally shot. Police say 2 days later that 20-year-old Rig Molabu, the man they say killed Wahhabi, was fatally shot himself at a home in South Winnipeg as payback. Detectives have connected a pair of gang-related homicides this past November that left 2 young men dead.
Something obviously happened in the nightclub that night that caused these two to that ultimately ended in a murder.
23-year-old Jamshed Wahhabi, once part of an after-school group for refugees and immigrants, was shot and killed at Citizen nightclub in the early morning hours of November 2nd. 2 days later, 20-year-old Rig Molabu, a star high school football player for the Daniel McIntyre Maroons, was gunned down at a home in South Winnipeg.
It has been determined that Molabu was responsible for the homicide of Wahhabi, and Molabu was murdered in retaliation. Both homicides, along with continued violence in Winnipeg, are the result of a feud between two gangs.
Police linked the 2 homicides following a 4-month investigation. Officers have now charged a trio of 23-year-old men, 2 from Winnipeg and 1 from Brandon, with first-degree murder in Molabu's death.
If Molabu was still alive, he would have been charged with a form of homicide.
Police declined to offer up any specifics on the nature of the feud or the names of the gangs involved, but say they primarily consist of new Canadians.
I think that's a vulnerable group of society. A lot of these individuals have come from war-torn countries where there's not a lot of stability, and then they come here, and I think sometimes it results in them being a little more vulnerable to joining a gang.
Police say it's an issue the force is focused on. It recently created a new position for a full-time gang prevention coordinator.
And this individual meets with community groups, newcomer groups, and is constantly providing parents with signs, risk factors, prevention strategies, and ways for individuals to exit a gang should they fall into one.
The investigation isn't over yet. Police are still looking for information from the public about a black truck and black Mercedes crossover in the area of Molabu's homicide. He was killed in the 100 block of Timsale Drive on November 4th.
What about further violence, Josh? Is there any concern this feud isn't over?
Officers say it is a concern, and it's something they're monitoring. Now, they say that when this type of violence does take place between gangs, it can have an impact on public safety.
All right, thanks for this, Josh. Students from Kildonan